talk about deadbeat dads, but nobody talks about toxic moms. Okay, dawa inakuja. There's this thing that not just Kenyan, but African, not even just African, comedians have in general, which is doing what? Wearing dresses. Sindio, it's a commonality. Madea, Flaco, Wakairo, Dada Zara. If any of you are on that clock app, which is TikTok, whether, you come across it on any platform, but you access TikToks. So you've seen these short clips of these funny things that we see online. If you go in deep and then you land on like Murima Talk, the one for cousins, or you land on the Western version of it, every local TikTok, whether it's Kenyan, South African, West African, has comedians who dress up as women. And they're men, just so we're clear. Okay. The interesting bit, and I was having this discussion with my husband a few nights ago, is not that they dress as women. And I know already we ask that. We're like, why? The question is why they dress as abusive women. They dress up as abusive moms because that is something that is completely normalized. My mother was no different. If anything, she was above and more. My mom is very brilliant. My mom believes she's the law. She believed she was law and still does. I noticed something when I was in my early 20s, that all my photographs from, say, around 2 years are photographed like this. It's not the forehead, by the way, just in case you're like curious. Yes, it's there. Headmistress is over here. But it's not that. But all my photos, I am very timid. I don't want to be seen. And I'm nimeinama. So the photographer kept on saying, Rora bere. And then I'd just dart my eyes. It's for the same reason that I do not wear skirts and dresses, despite what you see. This, you can see it has engaged colors. Just so we are clear, this was very specific. I don't wear dresses. I rarely, very rarely, which is hilarious for someone who was a finalist of Miss World Kenya. But nobody cares to wonder why. At first, I thought it's because I'm so disciplined and I'm brought up in like a Christian household. I'm such a good girl. But no. Hizo forehead za watu wa baba yako. Those big dark lips. Mulitoa wapi and dark gums. I have a dark gum and I don't smoke, just so we're clear. Well, no, I don't. Kidding. My mother was law. My mother is still law. Our parents have this thing, especially mothers, where they weaponize respect and love. When you're young, there's nothing you will not do, especially for your mother. And this is why I'm saying, in as much as we, normalize and laugh at deadbeat dads, we need to have this other conversation on this other side. Because it's important and it's needed. It's for the same reason that I'll take you back to the TikToks, which my coach will be so pissed about. We find ourselves in the comments of those TikToks with Flaco, where his mother has thrown up ugali sufuria at his head in his bed. We know those ninis. You know the reason why they say she slaps like a Luo mom? His mother has thrown a sufuria at him. And we're like, ha, 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 ha. Nika tulilelewa nyumba moja sisi wote. Difference ni bedroom curtains. And we think it's funny. We've normalized that. And it's really not okay. If you think about it, if you sit down and really think it's not okay, we have normalized bad behavior, so to say. When I got my first period, it was a few days to my national exam. What I've realized is I almost said KCPE. But then now I looked at the audience. Yeah? CBC, CBE, CBK, CBD. I got my period a few days to that exam. Now, the joke of it all is I was so scared to tell my mother about it. I didn't know when. Now I know. But I didn't know why. I was anxious. Who else was I supposed to tell? My dad. Interestingly, my dad is the one who had started that period conversation a while back, and it was so uncomfortable for me because he saw an always ad, and then he called me. Then I'm like, what? Like, odd. Kikuyu men are something. And I don't mean like, I do. So, weeks prior to me getting my period, these guys for Procter& and Gamble had come to our primary school and they had done the always talk. Everybody gets this talk. I know back then we used to be separated. I don't know about nowadays. You know, with the period, you want it to be period positivity. Maybe now they do it as a collab of boys and girls. But back then, we used to be separated. And so we were separated and we were taught how to use pads. And, I couldn't wait to go tell my mom that I had brought something home. And my mom dashed. I'm telling you, my mom is short. And the way she jumped from the couch to our bedroom to go to my school bag and grab those pads and take them to her bedroom. And then beat me because apparently my bag was not in good condition. I had not pangared my books the way I was supposed to. Very random thing that moms do. Once I tell my mom that, my mom looks at me. I don't know if maybe I had irritated her, maybe I just looked funny, it was my forehead, I don't know. So, my mom is peeling warus like this, eh? You know the way moms do, they peel warus with a shuka over here. She's peeling potatoes, warus are potatoes. So, I tell her, Mom, I got my period, and I'm so humble. So I'm trying to borrow pads. Pads that I had been given in school. My mother, and I thank God, she's a bad lefty. My mother threw a knife at me. So thank God she's a horrible aim. Like in this whole scenario, that's what I was thanking God for. That she's a lefty and she's a bad throw. My mother threw the knife at me and told me, turn to your Murima cousin and ask them to interpret what I tell you. And I promise I did not have, I didn't want to have this conversation in my mother's mother tongue. She said, don't know mahu. I do not have the terms to tell you exactly what it was that she told me. Basically, she told me, go get impregnated now. But when you hear it in your mother tongue, it's a little, cousins. Yeah. Ndawape namba yangu mnitumie ya consolation. Trauma. Yeah, my mother was low. But I knew that was not okay. But our mothers weaponized respect and love. Mbona unanifanya hivyo? Why did you do that to me? Mimi ni mamako. Yeah, I know moms relate. Because they say this to their kids all the time. But mom, mbona ulinichapa ile time? Mimi ni mama yako. Faa kuniheshimu. Mom, mbona uliniita malaya nikiwa mtoto? Mimi ni mama yako. Unafaa kuniheshimu. I did not even know what a prostitute was, by the way, back then. But those were some of the things that were thrown at me ever since. Mbona unanichukia, mom? Mimi ni mama yangu. What? Like what bulb is not, Oh my gosh. But at some point, I knew this was not okay. Our mothers carry the burdens of their ancestors, and they only carry the pain. Have you ever noticed? Our mothers carry people's pain. They don't carry those people's successes or goodnesses, if there's a word like that. They only carry the pains. Our mothers are experts at carrying pain, and that has been passed on to us as women. We carry the pain of our ancestors, we carry the pain of our parents, we carry the pain of our siblings, we carry the pain of our siblings' partners, we carry the pain of our siblings' children. So when time comes to carry your child's pain, you can't, because you don't know it. All you can do is give it, is dish it. our mothers would take pain and, you see the way you feed a child? They would feed it. They would nurture it. And the pain would have children, plump pain children. Then they would nurture it further. Then it would be plump pain grandchildren. And then those plump pain grandchildren are what they dished to us. I am a rebel. Call me a rebel. Chaos. Not because I like to fight. Not because I fight, actually. It's because I refuse to repeat. Let me tell you when I discovered this was wrong. When I was 10 or 11, our landlord tried to rape me. I was 10 or 11. Our landlord came home, and this brings a point where we are taught stranger danger and we teach our kids stranger danger, right? But do you teach your kids what happens when someone they know makes them uncomfortable? No. What happens if that is not really a stranger? Because the way, how do we define stranger? Is someone they've not seen, sindio? Someone they don't know. Ukiona ule mtu, kona mandevu hivi. Poor men in November. Poor men. Poor men in November. Ukiona anakaa sijui aje. But then they never tell you about the ones in your family. They never tell you about the ones who you encounter in your life and who make you uncomfortable, what you're supposed to do with that. Because we've been taught respect is a weapon. To my mother, respect was fear, and fear was respect. There is no discernment, and that is common with most of your parents, and I know you may not agree with me, but we are Africans, and Africa is our business. And we are all brought up in the same house. So, we're not taught what to do with landlords. Who would think? We're not taught to do with weird cousins. You're not taught what to do with weird uncles. Sometimes, it's the weird siblings. We're not taught how to do with that. So, our landlord kept coming around, and he kept asking for my parents. I'm like, they're not here. Then he would go and come back. They're not here. Then the last time he's like, I need to wait for your dad because I need to talk to him. Now, you see, we've been taught respect is a weapon, and there's a way you need to respect your elders. A lot of the times your children end up in very weird situations is because of this respect you've taught them that is just single-faceted. He comes in. See, me, I know landlord, the house is his. So come and wait for your tenant. What am I gonna do? This is very serious. I don't want to cry. This is why I have jokes, ukundani. That's what I do when it's a very serious issue. It's a very bad coping mechanism that is very common to comedians who don't wear dresses. So, he comes in and this guy grabs me and attempts to SA me. And I'm 10 or 11. Now, thank God that my dad was in a phase where he would allow me to watch wrestling. WWE. When they tell you women from Nyeri, it's me they speak of. So I grabbed a knife and I tried to knife him. And he could see the fear in me, in as much as I was a small child. An animal that is afraid is worse than an animal that is courageous. An animal that is afraid will actually hurt you because they have nothing to lose. And I think he knew I could hurt him. He may beat me, but I could hurt him very well. And so he ran away. Who are you? I'm cute. Who are you clapping for in this story? Oh, I know it was the knife. Yeah. This guy comes back 1 hour later. The audacity, I'm telling you, the audacity of assaulters. He came, and then he's crying to me to not report him. Do you understand? I'm 10. I think this speaker is thicker than it's still thicker than I am, but besides the point, I was very small. I was a very small person. He's begging me, crying. I said, no, I must tell my dad. So my dad came home. My mom had gone to the shamba, so she was coming back. So they were not together. But coincidentally, the way the universe works is very interesting. So my dad comes home. I tell him, he finds me there at the gate waiting for him. I tell him what has happened. He drops his bag and runs to the landlord's house because he didn't live far from us. And my mom somehow was like, less than a minute behind him. She comes, she finds he's dropped his bags there. She's like, okay. So I tell her. She screams his name and runs after him. What was her worry? That my dad would kill that man. Okay? Not, yeah, good. Yeah, I see, you've understood. You've understood, yeah? You guys come explain to this. So, I sit at home. See, they've gone. So I sit at home and I wait. I sit and I wait. The hours and hours and hours. And late into the night, they come back. I'm seated. So I'm waiting for news. I'm waiting to be told that I'll be in a court, like I see on TV, called Vioja Mahakamani. So I ask what happened, and they say, adult conversations. So I'm like, okay, sawa, maybe these police cases take long or repercussions take long. This was a Saturday. So on Sunday, I can't remember the morning schedule. By the way, I can't remember. These are memories that have come back to me after I started dating my husband. I did not have them. They were repressed completely. So, Sunday comes, the next day comes. All I remember is my mom slaughtered a chicken and she made chapos. And I found that odd because my dad is the one who used to slaughter chicken in most households. But my dad was not involved. So she slaughtered a chicken and made chapo. And so I was like, okay, maybe we're having this conversation finally. Praise God. No. I sit and at 7 p.m., the landlord walks into our house. He's the guest of honor who was being cooked for. So they come, so he comes in and he's welcomed and he sits. And me, I'm told to go to because I think maybe I started crying, I can't remember fully, but I'm given my food to go eat in the bedroom. Okay, the bedroom I shared with my brothers. My older brother was in school. I can't remember where my smaller brother was, but he was very young, very, very young. So I can't eat. I get into my bed and I start crying. After a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, my mother comes to my bedroom and I thought she would console me. You know, I'm in my bed, I'm crying like, ile akutetemeka ile. I can't believe it. My mother opens my blanket and she says, what do you need him to do so that you can forget and you can forgive him? Again, why? Because it's adult situations. Again, because we are taught to respect adults regardless of any situation that happens. What made me know this was messed up was because months earlier, my auntie had visited. My auntie is a direct sister to my mother, which means they've grown up in the same house, same situation, yeah? Maybe difference. I know there are houses where people are different. The way I'm brought up is not maybe how my brothers see it. Perspectives are different. But my auntie came, and she came with her 2 daughters. And something happened. I don't know. Me and her sister, and we are close in age. By the way, in my head, I used to think I'm older than these children because of how parentified I am as a child. Meanwhile, we're like 3 years in difference, right? So I think one of the smaller one did something, and so I'm castigating the smaller one with the older one, right? So me and the sister are castigating the younger sister. And since all I know about castigation and correction is screaming, I think that's what I was doing. I don't remember very well, but I think that's what I'm doing. So my auntie comes, now the mom, and she calls them separately. She knows my cousin had done something pretty bad. So my auntie calls my cousin, the one we are castigating, takes her under the tree somewhere. They're in our home, eh? Takes her under a tree and speaks to her and nini, and gives her a hug. My auntie comes and picks my other cousin, takes her to the bedroom and speaks to her and calms her down and nini. Then I'm called to my other cousin to go and join this conversation. I'm so shocked, first of all. I've never seen mothers hug their kids, console them. I'm so shocked. I'm like, what? You people are not like beaten within an inch of your lives, right? So this situation plays in my mind when my mother is asking what he can do for me now. So that he can, I can forget and forgive. And forgetting came first, just so we are very clear. Forgiveness, by the way. My mother was law. But then my dad didn't talk that whole scenario. So I never know what he did in that man's house when he went to his house. I still don't know to date. And when I try to bring up that conversation as an adult, my mother says it never happened. as most of them often do. And maybe to her, maybe it's also a suppressed memory to give her grace. I give my mother a lot of grace and respect. But in equal measure, I honor myself by staying away from the abuse. I am a rebel and a success because of my mother and in spite of my mother. Like I say, my mother has the most incredible work ethic I've ever seen in this life. She's the most hardworking person I know. So there's a part of me that cannot, see the duality of who she is as a woman. But I have to honor myself and my children to not put myself in those positions. There's a Bible verse that says, honor your mother and father. It is the first commandment with a promise. But they never tell you that the Bible verse right after that says, and you parents, do not anger your children. Just like the one for wives submit to your husband, it also says before that, husbands love your wives, that the two must go together. One does not exist without the other. Same to the parenting. It's very hard to demand of respect and honor when you keep angering your children. There's also another story in the Bible about Gideon, one who rose 300. Gideon was born in a house of Baal. His parents were Baal worshippers. Yet God kept calling him. For Gideon to be moved to the next level by God, he told him to break his father's altars. That was the condition. So I have often sat and asked myself, is my achievement of limitless breaking my mother's altars? Is that what it means to be limitless? Is it being free? Yeah? Is that what that means? It's very interesting if you think about it. I am also a rebel and a success who runs the first of its kind AI creative agency in Africa. And I have employees. I'm so shocked at that, by the way. Wow. Anyway, I'm so shocked at that. So I made a promise with God, and I told him this cycle will end with me. Why is it a cycle? Because I came to learn that the way my mother treated me is how she was treated by her mother. It's how her mother was treated by her mother. It is a cycle. Rarely do you just find it, it's just, no, it comes from somewhere. It comes from somewhere. And so that abuse is passed down. They sharpen those tools. They pass them down. They sharpen them further. They pass them down to their children. To their daughters, to be very, very specific. Okay? So I made a promise to God. This flipping cycle must end with me. And you know how it will end with me? If you give me my firstborn as a daughter. Prove to you. Big man, I'll prove to you. And so what does God do? He gives me a firstborn who is a girl. And so, my very beautiful daughter, now I have two very beautiful daughters. One who is turning 2 today, by the way. So, when my daughter is born and she's seated or she's sleeping and in any activity, I'm there telling her, you're so beautiful, mommy, you're the best thing to ever happen to you. And I make those promises, I will never do this. And parents, we falter. But then, I have chosen to take a very, very hard path of conscious parenting. Usijipate you've done something that could be detrimental to your child. My daughter, at 3 years old, whenever my husband and I would have a conversation, and I'm loud. In life, I'm just loud. So when I'm talking, we're just talking normally. I'm like, yeah, maybe we're even saying, I love you. My daughter would run to a corner, hold her ears, and crouch. And say, stop fighting! I had exposed her too much to my mother. I'm not even lying. I thought those times I would spend with her and my mom were normal. Because that was normal to me. I forgot. This one has not seen these things. And so a very small duration of hanging out with her grandmother had her thinking any form of loudness or anything, any castigation, was hyper-aggressive and would lead to things being thrown, as she would see. And so I decided to honor myself by not putting myself in those situations anymore. You would think that as an adult right now, I'm still not scared of my mother. I am. And let me tell you the sad bit about abusive parents. Abusive parents only bring up what? Abusive children. And these abusive children, they then go into what? Into schools, into these situations you're seeing with Alliance girls today. These abusive children who are brought up in abusive homes go into government. And that is why when me, a 33-year-old adult, goes into maandamano, it's not me who is castigated. It's my mother, it's my parent. Control your children, or we will do what? We'll control them for you. So that's what they said. Because respect is weaponized, and love is weaponized. The love of our country has been weaponized against us. Nataka kuharibu nchi. I mean, you don't know that's weaponized. That's gaslighting of Marx. Yeah? Abusive parents bring up abusive children who go forth into this world and become abusive people. Whichever way that happens. It's important that we heal. It is important that those inherited traumas are not passed on, because we can see the repercussions right now. We need to heal as children, as parents, as citizens, as leaders, so that we can lead from love and not from trauma or fear or any negative emotion. Mliona vile walifanya wale, ndio maana mimi siwezi kubali. That's what's happening right now. Because it's a repercussion of leading not from love. Even in your house, the way you bring up your children. That is why for me, my promise with God, I take assignments from God very seriously, and children are assignments from God. Children are God's. Children are not yours. I hope you can discern there's a difference there. Children are your direct responsibility from God. So never say God does not talk to you if he's given you children. And I believe that is one of the most sacred and insane assignments you will ever get. I'm also a believer that you should do anything and everything to protect your child. That is why it's very hard for me to repeat. I made the promise to my children, to take you back, that I will never put them in awkward situations that I have been put in, so on and so forth, both in my childhood and in my adulthood. So then, my limitless is not that I don't have boundaries. My limitless is that I have shed off those boundaries that were never meant for me to begin with. I have come to learn that chaos is simply a curriculum. Nothing more. People may call you chaotic or a child of chaos because of where you come from or the circumstances that you find yourself in some phases in your life. Chaos is KCPE, my friend, and we all passed that. Chaos is simply a curriculum. And because of chaos being a curriculum, I am not a child of chaos. And that is my limitless. Thank you.